All right, y'all. So I wanted to run this down for you. I guess I'm back to driving. Um, been out here for about a week again. Not at all thrilled about having to come back out here, but this is a tip for all of y'all who think that y'all are going to just get in the hot shot and hire drivers, etc., so forth and so on. It ain't easy, not by a long shot. A little bit of brief background. Um, I started Old Scooter Transport October of 2020. I had quit my job with the Florida Department of Corrections to come out here. And it has not been very profitable for me. I'm going to be honest with you. It really hasn't. Um, I started this company as kind of a paper tiger, and I had no revenue for the year of 2020. None. Um, I actually started this while I was driving for somebody else, trying to make money to basically get where I'm at now, almost 2 years later. And it's been a wild ride. It really has. It has seen this. This has seen me in and out of a truck, um, and it's definitely had its ups and downs. In July of 2021, me and my then business partner went ahead and we bought this truck, and we got it from a buy here, pay here place in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. This is a 2013 Dodge Ram 3500. Well, Ram 3500. I guess they dropped the Dodge logo at some point. And when I bought it, it had about 250,000 miles on it. Well, for a while there, I had a lot of issues with this truck, and I want to talk about those issues. First off, it's got the 6.7 Cummins in it. It's been deleted, and it's got the G56 transmission. For any of y'all out here running this setup, if you delete your truck, make sure, and this is very important, I want to stress this, please put the stock, or at least a stock tuner in it. Do not over horsepower your truck. The chip that I had in it when I first got it gave me gobs of power. I'm talking, I had enough power in this truck, I could have pulled the world right off of Atlas's shoulders. Unfortunately, it was too much torque for the transmission to handle. And I've gone through about 5 transmissions in this truck. No exaggeration. 5. Well, a few months ago, I was on the phone one night and I was talking with a buddy of mine in North Carolina who told me that, hey, stupid, um, your transmission is not meant to handle the power that your truck is putting out. And it's not. This is a medium duty transmission and it's made by Mercedes Benz. It is a medium duty transmission by European standards. This truck, in its natural form from the factory, is not really meant to run up and down the highway with 30,000 pounds behind it, pushing the torque that I was pushing. And I'm pretty sure I was getting probably close to 700 foot-pounds of torque or better. Looking at the specs from the factory on this truck, the engines, the 6.7s that came with the G56 transmissions, were actually turned down. Now, anybody who knows anything knows that Dodge has had a transmission problem for years. You know, this goes back to the 90s on their automatics, which is why I bought the 6-speed. I figured the 6-speed manual transmission, it'll hold up. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case. Now, with the stock tuner in it, I've been running it for a week, and I haven't been too heavy. I think I was only heavy. Uh, I had about, I don't know, probably 14,000 pounds on the trailer. Um, Tuesday, and I picked up a load in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Got it from another one of our drivers with Hot Shot 107, and I took it to Detroit. That was a heavy load, and it handled it. It didn't give me any problems. Obviously didn't have the horsepower that I was used to with this truck. Keep in mind, a week ago was the first time I had laid eyes on this truck since the 2nd of December when it went down on me in Gaston, Alabama. But anyway, so thanks to, and I haven't really gone public with this because they normally do not do this, but thanks to the generosity of the people at Hot Shot 107, they have helped me get this truck where it needs to be. They have put, again, 5 transmissions in this thing. I have a South Bend clutch in this thing. They've fixed my air conditioner. They've fixed oil leaks. They've all the nickel and dime stuff they've fixed. Just a couple of weeks ago, they put a brand new ass in it out of a Dodge Ram 5500. So this truck has had some work done to it, and it's had a lot of work done to it, and I'm grateful. Now, if you come to Hot Shot 107 and lease on with them like I did, don't expect the same thing. They may or may not do that. I mean, they kind of went way out for me, and I am very grateful. But just know, if you're going to get out here in an older truck like I've got, this truck's 9 years old. I'm looking at 295,285 miles on the odometer right now. Yeah, if I put almost 300,000 miles on you, you would have problems too. Unfortunately, that's just what we've got going here. She's an old truck. So what I want to say to you is, I'm not saying a new truck's going to be any better because this truck does have advantages over a newer truck. Again, it's been dep deleted. Yeah, I know. EPA doesn't like it. I give a shit. I care less. Um, I don't run to California. Well, I'm not taking this thing over the Rockies. I don't really need to go that far west anyway. But here's what happened. Again, I never started this company to drive this truck. I did not and still do not want to drive this truck or any truck. Quite honestly, I'm tired of it. 17 years of this shit, and I've been doing this almost 17 years. Started when I was 21. I'll be 38 next week. So I'm knocking on 17 years of this shit is enough. And I'm not talking hot shot because I've only done hot shot for 2. I'm talking about trucking. I'm tired. I did not start this company to drive my truck. But here's the problem that y'all need to understand before y'all just think that, oh, I'm going to get some truck, throw some driver in it, and make money as a fleet owner. You're responsible. If you have an employee driving your truck, if that truck goes down, That may or may not be the fault of the guy driving your truck. That may be the fault of the guy driving your truck. But you kind of owe them something. You owe your driver compensation. They're away from their family. They're out here on the road driving your equipment, pulling loads for your brokers or your clients, your customers. They're not, I mean, I know a lot of guys say, oh, well, they're 1099s, they're independent contractors. Legally, they're not. Legally, they didn't fill out an I-9. Well, they may have filled out an I-9, but you're doing that illegally. And you're going to get your ass handed to you by the IRS. So let's just get that straight out of the way. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Look at the law. If you tell your driver in your truck where to go, what to do, when they can go home, when they have to come back out, they're not an independent contractor, they're an employee. And you owe them something if they're out on the road and they break down in your truck. That's how I feel about it. Again, at Old Schooner Transport, we don't screw drivers. That's our motto. I'm not screwing a driver. I'm not letting a driver get screwed. Reason is I've been screwed over by most of the trucking companies I've drove for. I think the only company that I've drove for besides for Hot Shot 107 that I haven't been screwed over by is probably Covenant Transport. And I still stand behind Covenant Transport, even though I don't drive for them and haven't, you know, since 2006. Here's the deal, people. Trucking can be a great industry to get into. There's always freight. The rates may suck, and I'm going to get into that later on in the video. But you can make money. You can make a lot of money. But again, if you're just thinking you're going to buy some old truck and throw somebody in it, you better be ready. You're not going to know the history of that truck. I didn't know the history of this truck. I mean, how do you know the history? When I bought this truck, it was an 8-year-old truck. How do I know the history of this truck at 8 years old with 250,000 miles on it? Unless you have receipts showing everything that's done and maintenance records, you don't know the history of a truck. I don't care if it's 8 years old, 20 years old, or a year old. You're not going to know. And that is a risk that we take when we buy older equipment. It's an unfortunate risk, but it is still a risk. Somebody had done a hell of a lot of work to this truck before I got it. I know that. I can tell. Since I've gotten it, there's been a hell of a lot more work done to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Except the fact that I didn't have the money to come out of pocket. I'm going to give you a few tips that I've learned over the last 2 years of running this. I'm not saying don't run an older truck. I will never tell you not to run an older truck. I've seen 7.3s run up and down the road. Granted, 7.3's just about bulletproof to the max. I've seen hot shots in 7.3s. Nothing wrong with them. The other day, I saw a 12 valve Cummins running up and down the road, pulling hot shot. Again, nothing wrong with an older truck. Hey, that 12 valve Cummins, that's shit. You ain't killing that one. I don't care what you do to it. You ain't killing a 12 valve Cummins. They're about as hard to kill as a 7.3 IDI, but they are getting along in the tooth. They haven't made them in almost 30 years. God, when you say that. But they're still running them. There's nothing wrong with them. But you got to understand that you need to maintain these older vehicles. And mine's not an old 7.3. It's not that old. It's not an old, 5.9 Cummins. But it's still an older truck. I've got, you need to have a maintenance fund. I'm trying to set up a maintenance fund in an interest-bearing account because I know that I need to put up at least 5% of my gross. So if something goes down with me out here, I can get a hotel room and fix the truck. Something I should have set up, but I didn't. Again, thank God Ben Thompson and Marty Mercer at Hotshot 107 helped me out. And I'm not doing this as advertisement for them. I'm just telling you the way it is. I don't know if any other hotshot company would have helped me out the way they have. Get a little smoky in here. Had to open the door. But if you're gonna come out here and you're gonna do this in an older truck, understand what's going on. Understand that you have a responsibility to take care of your drivers. Understand that if your truck goes down and it's an older truck, your driver, you owe your driver a safe way home and compensation while the truck's getting fixed. You owe your driver that. If I hired a driver and stuck him in his truck, I would owe him that. I had a driver, but he wasn't mine. I basically told Hotshot 107 because I didn't want to come back out and drive. I was working for the jail back home. I said, you know what? Y'all run the truck. And they did. And that was to pay back the maintenance, the debt that they had acquired fixing this truck, and allowing them to get something back, some kind of return back on their investment. Because they did me right. They did more for me. They went above and beyond more than they should, more than they really wanted to. They put over $20,000 worth of work into this truck. Over $20,000. That's a hell of a lot of money. I could have bought a truck for what they put. I could have, I honestly could have just about paid this truck off for what they put into it. They wanted 28 for the truck when I bought it. I could have just about what I am still, and what I have already paid them back. I could have paid this truck off. Y'all think about that when it comes down to maintenance. Now, I know some of y'all, well, I'll just go get me a new truck. Okay. Well, that brings on another set of problems because with the new trucks, and even this one when it was on the showroom floor, it had you got a DEF system to deal with. DEF is the worst thing you can. Mm, DEF is nothing but synthetic piss. That's what it is. It's synthetic piss. Sorry, I had to reach up, turn my air conditioner on, get some air circulating in here. When you put a corrosive liquid into a diesel engine, I don't know who came up with the idea thinking it was a great idea, but honestly, whoever came up with the idea for DEF, I really hope that you get the worst case of crabs in the world and your arms are too short to scratch. That's how I feel about you. When you put a corrosive liquid in a diesel engine, it kills it. And these are not bitchings, this is an advisory video. If you're smart, you'll delete it as long as you don't live in California or you don't want to drive to California. I'm not going to California. This truck's not going to California. Any truck I buy after this is not going to California. That's just all there is to it. Because of that. But you have to understand that there are things that are going to go wrong on the road. And if you're going to be a business owner, a fleet owner, you have to be prepared for that. If the good people at Hot Shot 107 hadn't helped me out the way they have, I'd be out of business right now. My company would have gone under. Period. I wouldn't even have the option to drive this truck to recoup my losses and to recoup their losses. Well, they wouldn't have had any loss because they wouldn't have helped me. Good thing that they think enough of me to help me out the way they have. And again, I'm not saying they'll help you out. I'm not saying they'll ever help anybody else out. I'm not saying they won't. So if you come to Hot Shot 107, don't expect it. I wasn't expecting it. I'm grateful. I am very grateful. I feel like the luckiest man in the world for how they've treated me and what they've done for me. But to get into Hot Shot, it's not cheap. I'm going to give you another pointer because I've seen a lot of these guys out here. You get a loan from the bank or from your family. You get on a YouTube channel or on Facebook and go into Hot Shot groups on Facebook. This is where I've seen a lot of them. These guys are talking about, oh, I made $10,000 this week. I made $12,000. Oh man, you know what? I've made $6,000 on this Raycon and blah 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 blah. It's good money. Sad reality though. Diesel is $5 a gallon or better. I'm parked at a pilot in. I'm parked at a pilot in Council Bluffs, Iowa, right now. I'm doing my 34. Right now, diesel is $5.19 a gallon. That's the truck stop I'm sitting at right now. It's about average from what I've seen. I am grossing on the load that I'm on now, which is an easy load. I'm pulling a 48-foot flatbed trailer behind it. It's gooseneck. I have one piece on it. It's a utility pole. It's about 42 feet long, weighs about 8,000 pounds. I'm making about $2,300 to drive it to Baltimore, and I picked it up just outside of Omaha. Not bad, not great, but not bad. Now, I'm limited, and I have limited myself on several things. Number one, because I have a cooling issue with this truck. The reason I have a cooling issue is there is a wiring harness for the fan clutch that I can't get right now because of supply shortages and COVID. So I'm not going to the Rockies. Really trying not to go to the Rockies. Um, the other side of this is I just had surgery a few weeks ago, and I still don't have a lot of the upper body strength that I had 6 months ago. So I'm not tarping anything. I don't even have tarps on this truck. So I'm limited there. So with these limitations, I kind of got to take what I can get. And I know this. I knew this coming out. I just deadheaded last week. I left out a week ago from Elko, Nevada. I flew out there, flew out of New Orleans, picked up my truck in Elko, Nevada, and deadheaded all the way to Zanesville, Ohio over the weekend. There's two reasons why I did that without picking up the load. Number one, I wanted to put the truck through its paces and see what I can do with it. I wanted to feel it. I wanted to see if there's any issues. I wanted to check this truck out. And two, Hotshot 107 generally doesn't dispatch on the weekends, and that's by design because they really want you to get a 34-hour restart in. So yes, I spent the fuel to get it to their shop in Zanesville so that their mechanic can go through my truck and see if there's anything wrong with it. Not a problem. Had no problem doing it. Glad I got it done. Glad I did that. There was a couple of issues, and the issues got fixed. Again, I'm cool with it. I ran Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. I'm doing a 34 now. I'm just about done with it. I'll be done with it in about 4 hours. And I'm leaving out of here and I'm going to Baltimore with a fresh 70. Time goes in with us on Monday. So when I drop this load, I will have made 52.50. Not bad, considering. Had I been in Ohio Monday, I could have probably turned this into a 7 grand week. I very easily could have. I'm taking time this weekend. I'm going to go see my sisters. So this week's going to be limited. Again, I understand this. I know this. I'm fine with the limitation. After that, I told them, I said, I'm y'all's. run me. I'm not going home till Thanksgiving, and it's the end of August right now. I'm staying out until Thanksgiving, and then I'll stay out until Christmas and come back out after New Year's. By then, everything should be set up for me. Hopefully, in that week that I'm home, I'll get an auxiliary fuel tank installed. But I mean, this is the stuff that you have to deal with out here on the road. I've talked to a lot of guys who sit there and they say, "Oh well, I'm only going to run hot shot 2-3 days a week," or "I want to be home every weekend or every other weekend." This is another problem. You're not going to make any money. I don't care if you cash your truck and trailer out. You're not going to make any money. You're not. It's not worth it. Don't even do it. You need to stay out here at least 6 weeks. You ain't got to stay out here 3 months like I'm going to do. But you need to stay out here about 6-7 weeks at a time. Go home for 2, 3, 4 days, rest up, and then get your ass back out here on the road, or you're going to lose money. You're not going to make money. Not enough to do what you think you're going to do anyway. I mean, anybody can go out here and make $200, $300, $400 a week over your fuel and expenses. Anybody can do that. I'm not happy with that. I'm wanting to make thousands over my expenses. My eventual goal is to get me another truck. My eventual goal really is 2 road trucks, they will be semis, flatbed, and 2 dump trucks. Plus this. That will lead that will lead Old Schooner Transport into having 5 trucks. 2 local, 3 on the road. That is my goal. That is what I want to do. Now with semi hauling flatbed, oh, I'll make my money. Oh, I will absolutely make my money. More so than I will in a hot shot. My other goal is to get my own authority and put that under Hotshot 107's dispatch. The only thing under my authority that Hotshot 107 will not dispatch will probably be my dump trucks. And I'll take care of that running them from the house in Biloxi. The reason for this is residual income. Because I don't want to drive anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm sitting in the back seat of my truck. And I'm going to tell you, I'm 5'10", 300. I don't like sleeping in the back seat of this truck. I don't want to sleep in the sleeper of a semi. I want to sleep in my own bed. I want to get up and actually have a kitchen to go cook in. But I've got to build my way to that. And I know this. I'd love to go back and get my old job back at the jail and let my trucks do their own running. And eventually I will. Eventually I absolutely will. But I can't do that right now. I've got to sacrifice. And again, this is something I understood coming into this. It's not going to happen overnight. It may take me a year or two. But I have a lot of variables here too. Driving an old truck. Things break on older trucks. The saying is fucking trucking. shit happens out here on the road. And if you're going to come out here and you're going to do this, you better be ready for it. Here's the other thing, too. I had a level 1 inspection yesterday in Nebraska. And of course, being ex-law enforcement, I was sitting there bullshitting with the DOT officer. Unlike a lot of people in hotshot, I actually do respect the DOT. Now, I've run into some dickheads over the road, but a lot of DOT officers, they're just doing the job. I understand that. Again, former law enforcement myself. But here's the deal. I asked this guy how many hot shots he pulls in and inspects. He does a lot. I also asked him how many he's put out of service. And he said he puts a lot out of service too. Let me help you out with something. If you're getting into this, I don't give a shit if it's your own authority or if you're running under somebody else's authority like I'm doing. An out of service hurts you and the other drivers who are under that authority. So let's just say if you're like me and you're running under bill of freight, you get an out of service. You just cut my paycheck down. Safety score goes up, and that's not a good thing. Safety score goes up, loads go down, freight goes down. Brokers start saying, yeah, I don't really want to deal with this guy. His safety ratings too fucked up. And rates go down because we're limited now. Limited. Limitations. It's not a good thing in this industry. I'm already limited. I'm already limited to the max. My dispatcher asked me when I met her at the office the other day in Zanesville, she goes, is there any place you won't go? And I already told her. I said, hey, I don't go to California. That's a limitation. My truck's been deleted. I'm not taking it out there. And I'm not going across the Rockies till I get this coolant issue fixed. Now I'm limited. She asked me, she goes, well, will you go to the Northeast? And I said, yeah, I'll go to the Northeast. And she kind of looked at me surprised. She goes, what about New York City? I said, I don't want to, but give me a good paying load and I'll go. And I told her what I thought a good paying load was, $5, $6, $7, $8 a mile. I'll go to New York City. All day. With a smile on my face. So understand, you come out here, this is a business. And I'm going to also give y'all another point, too. You want to hire drivers, you better be ready for your phone ringing middle of the night. Driving for somebody else, and this is an important story. November of 2020, November 13th, 2020, I was in Cedar City, Utah. I fell off the trailer and I broke my left arm in 3 places and my right wrist. Shit happens. Fucking trucking. Well, I had to call my company. Understand, if you are the boss and you have employees, you have a responsibility to answer that phone, night or day. Could be an accident, one of your drivers could be hurt, could be a medical emergency, whatever. When I get people driving my stuff, their standing orders are two things. Number one, it's an emergency, you call 911. When you get off the phone with 911, I better be your second call. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm laid up in bed with Miranda Lambert. You better call me. I don't care. But I am a company owner who also is a driver. And that's what I believe. And if you want to get good drivers, take care of them. Take care of your drivers. Don't just pay it lip service like every one of these trucking companies and say, "Oh, your family, show me." Actually, don't even fucking actually. If I go to work for you and you tell me, "Oh, we're like a family," I'm walking out the door. I know how fucked up my family is. Does that mean we gonna be fucked up? My family's real fucked up. Do I want to compare my drivers to that? Hell no. I want my people taken care of. My drivers do well, I want them compensated. When they fuck up, they're gone. It's that simple. I have that attitude. If my driver is not as dedicated to making money as I am, I don't need him. I want to be home every weekend. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. This is an over the road job. I can't afford for you to take off and go home every weekend. You want to stay out a few weeks and then go home for a few days? I'm cool with that. But if you're not as dedicated to making money as I am, I don't want you. I want people that are money minded. I'm all about my money. I'm paying for this truck. It's my investment. I'm paying for this truck and running it out here because I don't want to work past the age of about 45, and I'll be 38 next week. That gives me 7 years to build this company up where I can decide whether I want to go fishing or not. And in that 7 years, I'm probably going to be back out here on the truck at some point. I know I'll be out here for at least the next 9 months to a year. I know I'm going to run through the wintertime. It's going to happen. Fucking trucking. This is the real story. So if you think you want to go out here and get a non-CDL setup, get your little Ford F-250 and your 30-foot trailer or your 25 plus 5 with your dovetail on it, get out here and run hot shot, you better be ready for it. You better be ready for what you're signing up for. Because this is a really fast way to go into debt. I have seen no less than 3 posts on Facebook today in the various groups that I'm in about hot shotting of people selling their equipment. Hell, Toe Piglet just went out of business. I respect Toe Piglet. Insurance company put him under. At least that's the story he tells. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know the guy personally, but I respect what he does. I'm telling you right now, you get into this, you better be ready. You're going to have ups, you're going to have very good weeks, you're going to have some shit weeks too. You're going to have shit happen out here on the road that you're like, fuck. It's going to happen. Be ready for it. Be more prepared than I was, please. I got lucky. I got lucky that I signed on with good people. You may not be as lucky as me. And that's the truth. That is the God's honest truth. Because I'm going to tell you, I was already told that Hotshot 107 has went into debt for me, helping me out with my truck more than they ever have for anybody else. And they're not willing to do it again because it's been one headache after another running an older truck. I got lucky. I don't know why they did it. I appreciate it though. I want you to come out here and I want you to be set up for success. Come out here. You do it right. You do it legal. Run legal. Logbook. E-logs, not paper. Unless you're running an old piece of equipment that you can get away with it, you better run e-logs. Ain't no outlaws anymore, sadly. We need to do better as hot shotters. We need to do it better and cleaner. And for God's sakes, please get your CDL. I don't care what nobody else says. God, I don't give a shit what anybody fucking tells you. It is in your best interest to get your fucking CDL. If you don't get your CDL and you get out here and you pick up a load and you think, oh, I'm good, and you don't scale it, and you go across the scale and you're over 26,001, you're done. That's an out of service. And you'd be lucky your ass don't go to jail. Remember that magic number? 26,001. Over that, you're done. You're fucked. Fuck around, find out. Because that's what you're doing. And you're making the rest of us look like dumbasses. You're making the rest of us look like we're all running illegal. That's why DOT will pull over a hotshot quicker than they will a semi. A semi, they already pretty well expect the guy to have a CDL and have a logbook and have his shit together. Although we know that people run those without the proper shit. We know what happens. But hotshotters are notorious for it. Do your pre-trips every morning. Maintain your vehicle. Again, especially, I mean, you need to do that anyway, but especially if you're running an older truck like I'm running. This is stuff you are federally required to do. You need to show, and I don't give a shit what anybody else says about this. This goes back to the days of paper logs for me. 15-minute pre-trip. 15-minute pre-trip. Don't just sit there and piss on the tires and go in and pile it, go get you a cup of coffee and, take a shit and call it 15 minutes. Actually inspect your truck. Don't take a fucking tire knocker and walk around and beat on the tires. Check the fucking pressure. Walk around, check your load securement. Check your gooseneck. Make sure it's connected properly. Pull your fucking breakaway cable out. Try to pull forward with it. Make sure that's engaging properly. Test your trailer brake at the pinchers. Do this shit. I don't care if it's blitz week, brake week, or a regular week. Check your shit. You're going to put between 400 and 700 miles on that truck every day. If I put 700 miles a day on you, you might have some issues too. Check it. Not just because the law requires you to, but check it because you need to know. I need to know if I'm low on antifreeze. I need to know if I'm low on oil. Because if I blow this 6.7 Cummins up, think I got the money to replace it? Hell no. Check all your fluids. Make your windshield, make your pissers piss on the windshield. Check your tires. Check your tread depth. Make sure your tires are wearing evenly. Check your axle grease in the axles of the trailer. Check, 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 and check some more. You need to do that daily. I idle this truck at night. I haven't shut this truck down. Well, I shut it down for a couple of seconds throughout the day today, and that was just to check my coolant and, do a couple of other things. But other than that, I usually don't shut my truck off. I don't like to be in here sweating my nuts off or freezing my nuts off. I like my AC blowing on me. So I got this fan here to suck the air from the front into the back. I like to stay cool. So guess what? I'm going to check it. I don't get hotel rooms. Right back here where I'm sitting is my bed. Do it right, do it legal, do it properly. You won't have any problems. Y'all be safe. If you're just getting into hot shot, please learn the rules of the road. In fact, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. 228-697-4009. You can give me a call and I will be glad to help you out and get you squared away. I have no problem. There's no strings attached on me helping a fellow driver out. The only thing I ask is you run legal and you run safe. And if you have any questions about coming into Hot Shot 107, which again is not a requirement for my help, but if you feel like you want to, call me and I'll point you in the right direction. and I'll be glad to help them welcome you to the team. Y'all have a good night. I got to get ready to roll in a couple hours.